Hey there, I'm Amber, and today we'll be talking about how to grow tomatoes in your GreenStalk. I'm growing 3 types this year, including this small dwarf one, which is an orange hat. Also this patio choice tomato, which has actually given me quite large tomatoes. And some bush early girl tomatoes, which I planted in the bottom 2 tiers of the GreenStalk. Being that a GreenStalk is a container planter, we need to provide a few extra steps for our tomatoes to grow healthy. So I hope you'll continue to watch as I share my tips with you. First up is giving them ample water. If you're not familiar with a GreenStalk, they have this amazing proprietary water system where you put water in the top reservoir and it slowly drips down the levels and into the tiers as well. Being that these are grown in a container, they may require a little extra watering than they were to be in the ground. And any extra water from the GreenStalk actually comes out through the bottom through this tube, and I like to collect that extra water with a watering can, and I'll show you what I do with that extra water next. In my opinion, the most important thing you can do for your GreenStalk tomatoes is fertilizing. Since they are container plants, they need that extra nutrients. And I'll show you 3 different ways to fertilize. First one is doing a worm castings tea. All that's needed is to soak the worm castings overnight with some water. This is highly packed with a lot of nutrients for your tomatoes. However, for this step, we will not be putting the water into the reservoir. You'll need to water each pocket for this step. And this is because of the residue that the worm castings leave behind. Be sure to put those soaked worm castings onto the surface of the soil as well, and make sure nothing goes to waste around here. A second choice for fertilizing is a granular kind. This is a kind of fertilizer that is called a slow release, so it will continually give the soil nutrients for months to come. I add a teaspoon to each pocket and scratch it into the soil, then followed by a little water to help it absorb into the soil. And the last option is a ready-to-pour concentrate. To me, this is probably the easiest option of them all. All you need to do is add a little of the concentrate to the top reservoir while you're watering. And since this is a liquid form, you don't have to worry about clogging any of the watering system up with this one. Any of these fertilizer options are a great choice. It really just depends on how much time you have or how busy you are. So I'll personally rotate through all 3 of these fertilizers throughout the season. Next, let's talk about some things that are out of your control, like the weather. These are some sun scorches that are on the leaves of the tomato, unfortunately. And I recommend getting one of the bases for the GreenStalk. That way you can move it during the day if needed. Remember, if you're hot, your plants are probably too. Here's a quick way to ensure you'll keep cool for yourself when you're out gardening. Take 2 small ice packs and a bandana and lay that bandana on the ground. Then place both of your ice packs in the middle of the bandana and then fold the bandana over the middle. Slowly roll it over till you have the shape of the ice pack. Then place that rolled up bandana over your neck and tie the ends together. This is a great way to make sure that you're temporarily not overheated out in the garden. It's important to take care of yourself because we have tomatoes to take care of. Let's talk about some other things that are out of our control, like bugs. These are leaf-footed bugs and they are very, very bad for tomatoes. They aren't harmful to humans, but they will take out the most of your crop. To keep these in check, I have a little garden dust buster that I use specifically for my GreenStalk, and I suck those little buggers up. I'll then follow up with some insecticide soap in hopes that they do not come back, but it's important to always keep an eye on those bugs. It's part of gardening, unfortunately. If you ever see some of your tomatoes have splits or cracks in them like this usually happens after a heavy amount of rainfall. So it's important to pick them early on. A lot of tomatoes can be picked before they fully turn red, and this mostly just helps if you have any splitting tomatoes or any bug problems like myself. You can pick them early on and allow them to ripen inside your home. Once tomatoes have started blushing with a little color, the fruit has actually already developed all of its potential flavor and will finish ripening off the vine just fine. I'm also experimenting with one of my larger patio choice tomatoes as well. It's mostly green, but this one has been a large size for a while, so I'm going to see if this one will also turn red on its own. So we're going to go ahead and bring these tomatoes inside. And did you actually know that storing tomatoes with their stem on the bottom also extends their shelf life? Place in a single layer and out of direct sunlight. And within a few days, I'll show you how quickly a lot of these tomatoes turn red on their own, even including that green one that we picked. This is after 1 day, and this is after 3 days. They were fully ripe. I hope you found some of these tomato tips helpful, and I'm wishing you all a great growing season ahead.